Okay, so we are on. Hi, Tess.
Hi, Maxime.
So in today's video, or actually in our conversation, I met you in one of the groups, right? And I was really inspired by what you did as a single mom, starting your own business.
Mhm.
And I really wanted to hear from you more and to share with your people you're working with and some clients of mine as well. Like, how was it um, to be in a place where you have kids and you're a single mom, um,
Mhm.
and kind of starting your own business?
Well, okay, so those are two different phases of my life, right? So I was a single mom raising them from when they were two. The eldest was two, and the youngest was only 5 months. So practically just gave birth to the
Yeah,
second one. And I was a stranger in this country. I came from Canada. I was brought, we came as a family here. I was pregnant with my youngest, and then a few months later. Anyway, long story short, that marriage didn't last long, thank goodness. There was some uh, domestic violence involved towards my children.
mm,
So it had to end, and I found myself deportable. No friends, no family, no money, no passport, no driver's license.
wow,
Yeah, yeah. So I was in that space where I had no time to worry. I had no time for self doubt. I had no time for anything but to rise up and take care of those kids. So, so that's I had to. Well, you were pointing to my certificates there earlier. I had to give up those certification from Canada, move to the States, and then found myself homeless. Right, I got evicted from my house. He stopped paying. I got evicted.
wow,
Um, so yeah. Anyway, I had to restart my career from zero. I had to become a bookkeeper all over again. No shame, no, just okay. I'll do whatever it takes. So that was the attitude that I had, and then many years later, actually it went fast. Then with the right attitude, I became I advanced in my career. I reached a financial controller, then I've reached financial director positions. So two separate things. And then when the youngest graduated from high school, that's when I decided to go full into coaching
got it.
and really start this business. Now, from when I was raising them when they were young, I worked two jobs. I also had a small business on the side as a bookkeeper. So, and I had investment properties as well. So
Wow, you're a busy mom.
I
Like,
was a very busy mom. My daughter would be right here on my shoulder, doing all sorts of things on my hair while I'm typing away. And yeah, it
yeah,
was a fun time of my life. I was invincible. I couldn't do anything wrong during that period of when I was a single mom. I was so focused on them. I was so they were my world. Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's quite amazing. And I think that the question is, how did you manage to kind of get to this mindset? Um,
Mm.
and kind of really, people find it hard. Well, you just said you had a job and then you kind of quit and you went full in to do something else that might be even new to you or something you haven't
Oh,
done before.
yeah, that was very scary to when the kids all sorts of doubts started coming into mind when it came time to quit my job and and really go full into coaching. It's scary because yeah, it's unknown. I kind of like the guaranteed paycheck, right?
Yeah, well,
I was making really good money, but the decision to quit, even though I've already made the decision, it became faster because I was getting sick at work.
In which sense?
I would go to work. And I would be presented with all sorts of sickness or discomfort. Like, I can't see the screen. How can I do my accounting job if I can't see the screen
Yeah.
or read the fine print on the paper, right? If I can't, you know, tick and tie and double check entries and stuff like that. And then I would be having some stomach aches. Or I would be driving to the office, and my boss even said, the owner of the company even said, just come in for an hour or two, just talk to the staff, have the staff meeting, check in on them, make sure everything's under control, and then go home. You know, because I had that flexibility and functionality to be working from home. So he's doing all these concessions for me, but on my way to work, I would be so sleepy. I would be so tired. There's always something presenting. And then one time I pulled over because I was so sleepy. I couldn't, like 11 o'clock in the morning. Why would I be so sleepy?
Yeah.
Right. So I pulled over. An hour later, I woke up, engine running, window open. I'm like, oh my God. So I really have to quit my job because obviously some part of me already left elsewhere. So I was no longer in integrity to stay in a job where I'm not 100% present, where I'm not 100% fulfilled, because I was procrastinating a lot. I was sick a lot. I was the focus was not there. The guilt of not giving 100% of my time to the company was so heavy and so strong. I don't know if that makes sense. So I had no choice but to quit.
No, it definitely like makes sense to me, at least. Because at some point, like, I was a logistics manager of a company for more than 5 years, and I really can relate to what you're saying, to that, like, discomfort and the stomach ache and this anxiety things that you kind of feel paralyzed and things, and you don't have anybody to kind of talk about it or to share with, because either you don't understand, or you don't want to be vulnerable, or you don't want to be weak.
Well, that too, and also I would tell people, oh, you'll figure it out, or oh, you're strong, you know, or why can't you be content? You have a great job, you know, just suffer through it. Was the messaging. Just keep doing it. Just keep forging through.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it that way any longer. You know, the willpower broke, pretty much, is what happened.
Got it. So you just decided to kind of quit everything and start from zero.
It was not easy. It was not easy to quit. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, how irresponsible is that? Oh my God, you're you know, you're investing this much on your coaching, that I spent lots of money on coaching certifications and on mastery trainings. So the guilt of that was so heavy. It felt so irresponsible. And but in the end, it was making me sick. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'm gonna quit. I went to Europe for a couple of months. I went to Hawaii for a couple of months. I went to California, West Coast, you know, Airbnb'd my way around to find myself, to really get in touch with whatever this is. Because for the whole time up to that point, I was not myself. I thought I was, but I got forced into this position where I had to take care of my children. And so I neglected the me who I was supposed to be, who I was meant to be, and I got relegated to this function, to this role. I had no idea there was so much more to that role that was breaking through and unbecoming, if that makes sense. So
Well, it's interesting because just right before our conversation, I had read something that somebody said you need to put your own mask first, right? So it's like when you're on the plane, they always tell you put your mask first and then take care of the kids.
Yeah, and
In
then
a sense of like
exactly.
if you can't take care of yourself and you kind of not stable with yourself and you're not focused on kind of
Yeah.
strengthening yourself, how can you help your kids or like first?
Well, they got the help as much, but there was a whole new evolution for us humans that has to happen, right? So the first stage of our life, we're functioning from safety, we're functioning from survival.
Yeah,
And then once we've mastered that okay, we now know how to survive in this world, then we break through, we become that butterfly. Now we test our wings and create a whole different world or experience and expression, higher expression. We got, it's our time to get to know our higher expression.
mm,
It's no longer for survival, it's no longer for the money, but it's more for the highest expression, is self-actualization.
wow.
And that part, no one talked about that before when I was going through my thing. And everyone just told me, oh, just be content with what you've got. Don't you know how blessed you are? You should be grateful.
Yeah, that's a very common conversation.
Yeah, yeah. But
Um,
there was something in me that felt like there is more, but I have everything. How can I want more? So that there's that voice of you're being selfish too. No, there's more.
yeah, it does, it does make sense in a way. And
Yeah.
how long did it take you like from starting from again zero to to create a sustainable business currently that you're happy with? And I guess it's always growing because like you always,
It is always growing, right? So um it's like, well, it's a good thing that I have investment properties. Okay, so otherwise I wouldn't be as brave as I was quitting the job. Was so in my mind, that was divinely designed so that I could pursue this passion, this calling, this soul calling. So how, it's an ongoing thing. Now it's my focus has never been on the money. The focus has been on my personal liberation, my soul liberation, and then the money comes one way or another.
yeah,
Make sense?
it
So
is.
next thing you know, there's a client. Next thing you know, so it's like, but now I'm in this stage of my business where it's intentional. Where okay, this is what I want. This is how much I want to grow it. But before it's, I need to be certain about myself first,
Yeah,
my
it
own
does make sense.
transformation
So
first.
how like the question is, how long does it take to go from like zero from where you started to a place where you kind of felt confident with it?
Within the same year, actually.
So it like can take you like a 12-month
Yeah, in 12
process.
months. Yeah.
Okay. And I guess
It,
you,
it depends on, um, one, I got that business training. The accountant in me is already business savvy.
yeah,
So a lot of people get stuck in their financial ceiling because, oh, business is too hard. Well, I got the background, the business background, the accounting and all that.
yeah.
I also invested in um, a lot of great coaches training, that it's not just the coaching, but the business side of coaching as well.
What
So that was the first 2 years, from 2013 to 2015. It was all about, okay, how do I set it up so that I can be successful? And
okay.
then whatever I made, then I reinvested it because I want more and more and more.
Yeah, makes sense.
That makes
So
sense.
so you always were working with different coaches to help you through the process, right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I
And
believe in coaching so much, and it's not always business related coaching that I hired coaches for.
okay, what else? I can just give a bit of example.
Spiritual coaching.
Mm,
Yeah.
cool. So basically, within a year, you're able to create a sustainable, or kind of sustainable business that you're happy with, and that's the most important
That I'm
thing.
happy with that. So yeah, you guys have to define your own definition of success. Now I coach a lot of coaches who can't make it to that level, or who are not willing to give up their paycheck, right?
Yeah.
And so the mindset there has to be adjusted, and their money mindset as well. There's a whole lot of contributing factors to, what will make a business or not.
Yeah.
So I'm not promising that whatever results I got, I'm still here after 7 years. I'm not promising that to anybody, because it's totally up to you to make it work. I've seen a lot of coaches who took the same training as I did, who are still in training and not coaching.
Yeah. Well, that's sometimes like it takes a while until people build this confidence of actually go and really test whatever they read, whatever they learn, whatever they were coached in.
Yeah,
And I think the best thing, whenever you start something, is actually go and try it. And I think
yeah.
that's a big fear that stops, like, many people in general, but also trainers and coaches, like as a group, that you feel incompetent in a sense,
Yeah.
or you feel like, oh, I don't have enough and I need to learn more before I start.
Because really, if you, depending on how much you're charging, and your expertise and all that, what you're delivering to your client, your rate could be small or big, and so it that decides how many clients you have. One or two clients would be enough for people with high ticket products, right? um my goal right now is to create more impact. It's not necessarily scale, as in create informational products, but to be more out there. I don't know what, if that makes
Bro, to
sense.
get more, get to
Reach
like
more people.
get to more people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely get.
So it's evolving. It's a process to go out there, and really step into visibility.
Yeah, I totally get
To
it.
get one or two, three clients, that will make, if you're charging 600 a month. Are you focused mostly on coaches, on people who want to be coach?
So what I'm doing, and again, I shifted to it from my wellness coaching, is
Uh-huh.
I really want to help parents and especially stay-at-home moms to achieve financial, parenting, and relationship fulfillment. And doing that by starting their business, because when you start, like you describe it, when you start your business, you're kind of on a self-growth process. And when
Right.
you're in a self-growth process, you kind of put all what you learn in this process into your relationship, into your parenting. So you become a better parent, you become a better partner, you become more confident in what you do. And then with that, you're creating an income for yourself and creating this kind of independency, financial independency. Because in many cases, when I spoke with moms, whether here or stay-at-home moms or moms in general, they get to a point where if they're not working and they're not making an income, they have this kind of um, something going on in the financial aspect in the relationship. So they feel kind of uncomfortable to speak about money. They feel uncomfortable to ask for something. And there's always this financial dependency of like, oh, he's working and I have to do this, and he's the main um, money maker, and this is and it becomes a bit weird. There's something very
Well,
heavy in the relationship.
money and self-worth are so interrelated, with,
Yes.
yeah, when one is disconnected from their spirit, their self-worth, money gets affected, because money is really all about energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when one is disconnected from themselves, it could look like that they have lower confidence level because they're not making money, but really it's really owning themselves
Yeah,
first.
but that's what I'm saying. It's like to go through the whole process of it, um,
Hmm.
because when you don't have a growth mindset in general, and you kind of not, like you said, investing in yourself all the time and growing and learning, and it's not in the end. That's why I'm not promising. I'm not saying, like, I see a lot of coaches that they say, "Oh, I promised 6 or 7 or 8 figures."
Hmm.
And I'm not about that. It's all about really be happy with what you're making, and getting to this growth process of, even if you don't know, some people even don't think that they can offer something. Like, they never
Exactly.
thought.
That's exactly it. If they don't feel good inside of them, that feel like they have nothing to offer, and that doesn't mean financially right away, but you know it's like we contract our expression of ourself, and we don't let anybody in, we don't let anything out. So
Yes.
that's the
So
energy
so
I'm talking
so
about,
that's
right?
that's the process that I'm creating, because I'm working on basically on 5 steps that I decided to go through with clients. And it all starts initially with their mindset, with their mindset and well-being. So how they take those two and they kind of fix themselves, in a sense.
Right.
Not fix themselves, but start taking care of themselves and see where is the gaps between, like, where they currently are to where they want or supposed to be. Because in
Yeah.
the end, that creates all their health issues. Like, I'm helping people with weight loss. So weight might be, it's not only about eating and exercise. And I always tell it to my clients, there's a lot of aspects about weight that is like stress, things that you're not saying, things that going on in your relationships, things that go with your work that you even, it's subconscious that you even don't know. And sometimes you just shed a light on it, and people getting scared of it because it's something uncomfortable to look at, or something you never thought about.
Yeah.
And until you kind of um, tackle this, or bring it forward, people are kind of blind to it.
Yeah.
And
Well, so
then,
here's what I can let your audience know is the growth was a necessity for me, because I was in that place where I was getting sick. I got into coaching because I was burnt out. I thought I was happy with my job, but there was just that restlessness inside of me, and that what got me into coaching. Because what is this? Why am I suffering inside? Even though I have everything, I have the money, I have the kids are doing great, I have, the money was not the issue for me at all. I was happy where I was, I thought.
yeah, well, money is, most of the cases, is like, in most of the cases,
Yeah.
money is not the thing.
Right. So you can never be free financially or otherwise unless you yourself are free. So that's your inner game needs to be in that space first, and then your outer game, it has to align, but it all starts from the inside first. So the growth process for me, the learning and all that, was a cry for help, a cry for an answer, a soul searching to really find myself first. So that's one thing. Really connect with your purpose, like the deeper meaning of why you're even here. We get bored, we turn into zombies because we become so habituated with the ins and outs of the daily life, and don't even know who we are anymore. So go back to that. Who are you? Who are you really? What do you stand for? What's your purpose? And once you get to that, then the business, whatever it is, whether it's coaching, whether it's something else, whether it's volunteering, it makes sense. Then there's that level of appreciation that happens already, that there's that gratitude for life. And then you take it a little bit uh, further, you become the expression of life. Life no longer happens to you. You become the expression of life. So it becomes a very deliberate and intentional.
Yeah.
And then when you come from that space, you're attracting, you're generating rather than,
Yeah.
there's so much difference in intentionally creating your reality, whether financially, relationally, health wise, whatever it is, right? So whatever your dream is, it manifests faster because you are right with yourself.
Yeah.
You know exactly who you
It's
are.
like I always tell my clients, like, stop being a victim of circumstances and create them.
Yeah. You can create the the environment. You can actually nurture what it is that you want to create in the world. You're it, you're everything. You create it, you produce it, you're the actor. Right, you're the editor, you're the referee.
Yeah.
You're everything. This is your life, this is your universe. So it's all about aligning to what is it that you want to contribute, right? What do you feel is your highest contribution? So once that sparks up, like everything lines up. You can't not go follow that that trail, because once what is it that someone says, pain pushes until vision pulls. So you got to listen to the pain too. What is it? What's underneath that pain?
Mm.
What do you really want? Because once, if you're disconnected from that pain, we are trained to run away from pain. We are trained to avoid pain at all costs. So what do? We eat, we gamble, we get addicted to TV or whatever else. There's so many addictions going on right now, vaping, blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
it's all to numb our deepest longing, the pain of not being fully realized. So
And,
that's the bottom.
and I think
That's the
not,
bottom.
not only that, it's also self-discovery. Sometimes it's very hard to discover yourself, so you kind of go and numb yourself.
Exactly. It's hard to discover yourself, especially when everyone around you is zombie too.
Yeah.
Right? Like just going through the motions day in, day out. So that's the hard truth. So it's I'm not gonna be talking about oh, you have to be financially independent. uh, yeah, you already are. If you can afford a maid, if you can afford this and that, you already are. It's just the priorities, right?
Yes.
So it's where are your values, your priorities, motivations, and stuff like that. Yeah, it's the money is there, but where are you spending it?
That's that's right. So
Yeah.
Tess, if people want to work with you, first of all, how can they find you? And what exactly are you coaching them with? Like, what are you working with them on?
Okay, so what am I exactly working? It's pretty much what I already alluded to. It's soul power leadership. It's soul power versus fear power. So fear power is when you are constantly doubting yourself, constantly confused, or even though you're up leveling and doing everything, there's still that deep insecurity that lurks in the background, and then there's no feeling of assuredness inside of you. So soul power is where I lead my clients to. So it's really, it's enough with all that fear driven messaging out there. And what I guide my clients is to come to that place of integration where the physical, the emotional, the mental, and spiritual are all lined up and integrated.
Mm.
You're functioning from a wholeness perspective, from a oneness perspective, from an alignment perspective, versus the mind carrying all the weight, or the emotions being trapped and unresolved, and the physical, we're killing ourselves, just doing, forcing, and our spirits so disconnected and not even our natural expression of who we are. So that's what I do. I hope it makes sense. It's bringing all our parts together, coming into alignment, so that we can be authentically confident who we are, what we're bringing to the table, and happy and fulfilled, and financially independent. It really is the formula for financial, for any type of independence. It's freedom, liberation, uh, fullest expression, and highest actualization of who you are meant to be. How
Awesome.
do you get a hold of me? It's Tess at tessvergara.com. I think my name is written up there. So tessvergara.com.
Okay.
You can email me or follow me on Facebook. You can
Perfect.
easily find me.
Yeah, great. Tess, really, really thank you for this, for your time and like all the knowledge that you just shared, and like all your experience and everything, all the challenges. I think there's a lot of people in a similar situation or something that they can relate to. And I hope really give them some kind of either a butt kick or a push, um, you know, to to kind of liberate themselves as well, because it's
Yeah,
really sad sometimes to see how people inflict self pain without even knowing that or seeing that.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I really believe everyone is waking up to their own unique self, and once you get to that, once you give yourself permission to be who you really are, and everything that you're meant to be, it'll all flow. It'll all flow. So, all right, this is
Yeah.
wonderful. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you very much. And I hope to speak with you in the future.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. All
Bye
right.
bye.